Hello, hi. Hi
Hello.
everyone.
Hi.
Can I see everybody on the page? Okay, so it's 12. I'm going to introduce everybody who's going to talk today. So I'm Roshara, you can call me Shara. So I will be talking about domestic violence during this MCO period. And then there is Amir Hamza, who is the partner of AmerBON. And then
Morning, everyone.
and New New, Joshua, who will be talking about bail and what do you have to do when you get arrested if you breach the MCO. And then there is Michael, who will be talking about employment issues, and Sue, sorry, who will be talking about immigration issues.
Hello.
So, yeah. We will start off with Joshua. So, okay, shoot.
Hi everyone. So I'm Joshua. So I will speak very briefly about the criminal process during the MCO period. If you get arrested and charged in court. But I will speak in bahasa so that it's easier for everyone to understand. Okay. Jadi salah satu soalan yang sering diterima atau ditanya oleh kepada saya ialah apa yang perlu dibuat ya sekiranya kamu atau anda ditangkap oleh pihak polis. Jadi kalau kita lihat laporan berita semalam, lebih daripada 20,000 orang telah ditangkap ya kerana telah melanggar perintah kawalan pergerakan. Dan pertama sekali ialah soalan bagaimana anda tahu anda telah ditangkap oleh pihak polis. Ya, jadi sekiranya kamu ditahan di sekatan jalan raya di roadblock dan pihak polis menanya kamu soalan di mana kamu nak pergi ya, dan kamu memberi jawapan yang tidak memuaskan atau polis menahan kamu di tepi jalan dan kamu tak dapat memberi alasan kenapa kamu berada di luar rumah ya. Jadi pihak polis boleh melaksanakan tangkapan terhadap kamu kerana telah melanggar perintah kawalan pergerakan. Jadi biasanya pihak polis akan memberitahu kamu bahawa kamu telah ditangkap kerana telah melakukan suatu kesalahan. Ya. Tetapi terdapat situasi di mana pihak polis juga tidak menerangkan bahawa kamu telah ditangkap tetapi tidak membenarkan kamu beredar dari kawasan dari kawasan di mana kamu telah ditahan tersebut. Ya, jadi di dalam situasi tersebut kamu juga sebenarnya berada di bawah tangkapan. Ya, jadi untuk mengelakkan keraguan, sekiranya kamu ditahan atau you are stopped, kamu dihentikan oleh pihak polis, kamu boleh bertanya kepada pihak anggota polis tersebut sama ada nombor satu, kamu telah ditahan, dan nombor dua, sama ada kamu dibenarkan untuk beredar dari kawasan tersebut. Ya, kalau kamu tidak dibenarkan beredar, maksudnya kamu telah ditahan oleh pihak polis. Ya, okey. Nombor dua, sekiranya kamu telah ditangkap oleh pihak polis, kamu sebenarnya mempunyai hak untuk membuat panggilan kepada saudara ataupun peguam ya, sebelum rakaman percakapan kamu diambil. So kamu boleh memberitahu, memaklumkan kepada pihak polis bahawa kamu ingin menghubungi sama ada ahli keluarga kamu atau peguam untuk memaklumkan mereka bahawa kamu telah ditangkap oleh pihak polis. Dan pihak polis tidak boleh menafikan hak tersebut. Ya, jadi kalau sekiranya kamu ditangkap dan pihak polis enggan membenarkan kamu untuk bercakap dengan atau memaklumkan kepada ahli keluarga kamu ataupun kepada peguam, seorang peguam, kamu perlu membuat satu laporan polis terhadap pegawai atau anggota polis tersebut. Yang keduanya, baru-baru ini terdapat berita bahawa seorang remaja yang telah ditangkap dan beliau menggunakan tongkat dan kemudian telah dimasukkan ke dalam but kereta peronda polis. Jadi saya tak dapat sahkan sama ada aligasi beliau adalah benar atau tidak. Tetapi sekiranya perkara sedemikian benar-benar berlaku, ya, sama ada polis telah menggunakan sebarang kekerasan, ya, atau telah menampar kamu, telah menyepak kamu, ya, kamu boleh membuat laporan polis terhadap anggota atau pegawai polis tersebut. Okey. Tetapi sekiranya dalam melaksanakan tangkapan, kalau kamu bergelut atau melawan, pihak polis dibenarkan untuk menggunakan kekerasan yang munasabah, reasonable force, untuk melaksanakan tangkapan terhadap kamu. Jadi sekiranya kamu ditahan oleh pihak polis, kamu tidak perlu melawan atau tidak perlu bergelut untuk mengelakkan sebarang kecederaan atau perkara yang tidak diingini berlaku. Seterusnya, dalam tempoh setelah kamu ditangkap, kamu hanya boleh ditahan oleh pihak polis selama 24 jam. Sekiranya pihak polis ingin melanjutkan tahanan kamu, pihak polis perlu mendapatkan atau membuat permohonan reman di mahkamah untuk melanjutkan penahanan kamu. Bagi tujuan pelanggaran PKP ini, pihak polis boleh membuat permohonan reman secara paling maksimum selama 7 hari. Ya, so permohonan pertama pihak polis boleh membuat permohonan selama 4 hari dan selepas 4 hari tersebut tamat, pihak polis boleh membuat permohonan lanjutan bagi tempoh maksimum lagi 3 hari. Jadi tempoh maksimum pihak polis boleh menahan reman kamu ialah 7 hari. Dan selepas dan tujuan bagi permohonan reman tersebut adalah untuk membolehkan pihak polis membuat siasatan atau menyelesaikan siasatan, ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat, saya ada terbaca satu berita oleh Menteri, Ismail Sabri. Beliau berkata bahawa siapa yang melanggar perintah kawalan pergerakan akan direman, ditangkap dan tidak akan dikompaun. Ya, jadi saya rasa itu adalah satu yang tidak wajar lah, sebab permohonan reman tu adalah untuk membolehkan pihak polis menyelesaikan siasatan. Jadi kalau siasatan tu boleh selesai dalam 24 jam, tiada keperluan untuk pihak polis membuat permohonan reman. Ya, permohonan reman tersebut bukan bertujuan untuk menghukum seseorang suspek. Ya. Jadi selepas pihak polis menyelesaikan siasatan, pihak polis akan mengumpul kertas siasatan dan merujuk kertas siasatan tersebut kepada pihak pendakwa raya untuk mendapatkan keputusan sama ada kamu akan dituduh di mahkamah atau tidak. Jadi kalau kamu dituduh di mahkamah, kamu mempunyai dua pilihan, sama ada kamu mengaku salah atau tidak mengaku salah. Jadi kalau kamu tidak mengaku salah, mahkamah akan perlu menetapkan tarikh bicara, ya, dan dalam semasa tempoh kamu menunggu tarikh bicara, kamu dibenarkan untuk diikat jamin. Dan semasa proses ikat jamin, sebenarnya sekiranya kamu tidak mempunyai akses kepada peguam, kamu boleh merayu untuk memohon supaya jumlah ikat jamin tersebut dikurangkan. Ya, jadi faktor yang paling penting dalam pendengaran ikat jamin ialah sama ada terdapat sebarang risiko untuk kamu melarikan diri atau tidak menghadirkan diri di mahkamah. Jadi kamu boleh merayu dan memaklumkan mahkamah mengapa nombor satu, jamin perlu diberikan kepada kamu, dan nombor dua, jumlah jamin yang berpatutan, ya. Dan seterusnya, sekiranya kamu mengaku bersalah, jadi mahkamah akan menyabitkan kamu dengan kesalahan dan akan menjatuhkan hukuman kepada kamu. Sekali lagi, sekiranya kamu tidak mempunyai akses kepada peguam, kamu boleh memohon kepada mahkamah atau merayu untuk mengurangkan hukuman, ya. Jadi faktor-faktor yang biasa adalah yang biasa dihujahkan atau dimaklumkan adalah sama ada kamu bersalah pertama, status kewangan kamu, berapa tanggungan dan sebagainya. Ya, dan akhir sekali, salah satu soalan yang ditanya ialah sekiranya kamu mengaku bersalah terhadap kesalahan melanggar PKP tersebut, sama ada kamu akan mempunyai rekod jenayah. Jadi jawapan yang pendek sebenarnya tiadalah. Sekiranya kamu disabitkan dengan kesalahan di bawah Seksyen 24 Akta Pencegahan dan Kawalan Penyakit Berjangkit, sabitan tersebut tidak akan direkodkan. Sabitan kamu tidak akan direkodkan. Ya, tetapi sekiranya kamu disabitkan dengan kesalahan menghalang penjawat awam di bawah Seksyen 186 atau perbuatan cuai untuk merebakkan penyakit berjangkit di bawah Seksyen 269 Kanun Keseksaan, kesalahan-kesalahan tersebut akan direkodkan. Sabitan tersebut akan direkodkan. Jadi secara asasnya itu apa yang saya nak beritahu lah berkenaan proses sistem keadilan jenayah, ya. Terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih Joshua. So the next speaker will be Michael Chia, who will be talking about issues of employment. And for your information, there will be a Q&A after this first segment. So we're going to talk about issues, then we will answer your questions after that you've posted for us. So by all means, Mike. Sorry, Mike, I don't think we can hear you. So
sorry, hi everyone.
Yeah.
Michael here. I'll be speaking on employment issues. But the common questions that I've been getting regarding employment are that whether employers are allowed to reduce or withhold salary. Second question I get is whether employees can force you to take unpaid leave, or ask you to go on, annual to take your annual leave during the MCO. So in answering the first question, the short answer is employers are not allowed to reduce or withhold your salary because and as long as the employees are being hired on and required to pay on a monthly basis, and you are required to pay the salary on a monthly basis, salaries must still continue. So unless the contract states otherwise, which for example, if his salary is dependent on how much work he's supposed to do, or if it's like on a piece rate basis, then that is permitted. But it all goes, at the end of the day, it all goes back to the terms of the contract, whether the contract it states that the person is being employed on a monthly basis, and payment of salary on a monthly basis must still continue despite regardless of whether work has been provided by the employer. Yeah, so that is in regards to the first question. I mean, the second question, whether the employer can force an employee to take leave, or to take unpaid leave, or an annual leave during the MCO. The short answer is no, because unpaid leave and annual leave are taken are only at the are only taken at the discretion of are only allowed when employees are agreeable to take those unpaid or annual leave. So the third question, which I think arises also, is whether your employer can force you to work um, during this MCO. The short answer is no. They are not allowed to. If you are non-essential services, and if you have not been approved or allowed to work during this MCO period, then then your employer cannot force you to work. But your employer must have means, or must allow you to or must create an opportunity or give you the ability to work from home, and um, if in the event if you are forced to work despite being in the non-essential services, you can make a complaint to the Department of Labour, and when you and you can also cite constructive dismissal in such an event. So these are the two options if you are being forced to work uh, in a non-essential services which has not been approved. But if you are a non-essential worker, then you must continue to work if you are as required by your employer. So I think that these are the three questions which I think are commonly asked during this period of time. So if there are any further questions, I can answer them later.
All right, thank you, Michael. Next will be Sue. We'll be talking about the famous issues on immigration. So by all means, Sue, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sue, and I'll be talking about immigration issues. So currently, I'll be referring to two media reports. One being that family who face separation issue. So, for example, so the current law is that only Malaysians and Malaysian PR are allowed to enter Malaysia. Foreigners are not allowed to enter Malaysia even if they hold valid pass, with a few exceptions. So one of the exceptions is being spouses who have long-term visitation social pass and a valid marriage certificate. But the issue faced by many family is that some of them do not have a long-term visitation social pass, because usually they might come in with a short-term social visitation pass, or just yeah. So in situation like that, they are not allowed to enter into Malaysia with their Malaysian spouse. So we find that this is extremely discriminatory, and it will definitely impact Malaysian family, especially we don't know how long this MCO period will last. If it's just 2 weeks, the impact is not so huge. But looking at the current trend that MCO is extended almost every 2 weeks, we would not know how long, and we don't know how long it will last. Family are facing issues like that. So what we can do is that we can look into filing a case, like a class action, where family facing such issue can come together and file a case against the government. And if we also urge that government should amend policies like this that allow family spouses and children, even without the long-term visitation pass, allowed to come into Malaysia, so that they won't face issues like this. So another media another media report that touches on immigration is that couples who are under this Malaysia My Second Home policy, where they have this special MM2H pass, they have already established their house in Malaysia, because they are not PR and they are not Malaysian, so they are not allowed to enter. So government should also look into policies and amend the policies to allow them to enter, because they already established Malaysia as their second home, and technically speaking, they do not have any other places to go other than Malaysia, since they already built a house there. So I think that Malaysia government should actually look into this, and if at all anything, we can also look into filing a case against the government of Malaysia after this MCO period is lifted. So another question arises is, what if you have all this valid pass and they are expired during the MCO period and you are overseas? If your pass expired during MCO and you're overseas, you're allowed to return to Malaysia within 3 months after the MCO period is over. So, and then once you return here, you have to renew your pass within 30 days of entering into Malaysia. So that's what you can do after that. So far, these are the media reports that I want to talk about. If you have any other questions, you can just leave it there, and then we'll discuss in the next segment. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. That is very informative. So now it's my turn to talk about domestic violence. And let's say you are facing issues on domestic violence. This is probably what you should do. So what is domestic violence according to the Domestic Violence Act? To sum it up, it's about it comprises of any abuse to you physically or mentally. So psychological abuse is also domestic violence, and it applies to anybody in your household as well as incapacitated adults. For example, let's say if you are staying with or cohabitating with your boyfriend or girlfriend, it also covers if it resembles a marriage. So I don't think that the Domestic Violence Act actually provides protection to, let's say it's just a casual, you're living with your boyfriend or girlfriend, something like that. But the protection in that is that you can always lodge a police report if, let's say, your boyfriend abuses you and whatnot. But in terms of marriage in a household, let's say you're mentally abused by your parents, or you're mentally or physically abused by your spouse, there are always ways to report this. You don't have to suffer in silence. So I can list out few contacts that you can actually call and WhatsApp in the event it's not convenient for you to call a hotline, because usually, let's say if you have a very controlling partner, then probably calling a hotline in your household is not very ideal. So let me just give me a second. Yes, so there are about 8 authorities that you can call. Some of them are NGOs, some of them are government authorities. So the first is Talian Kasih, and do mind that the Domestic Violence Act is not does not gender discriminate. So it applies to male and female. So I'm pretty sure there are issues that male are also suffering from domestic violence from their partner. So they can usually call one of these 8 authorities. First is Talian Kasih. You can WhatsApp or call their hotline. Second is the Women Aid Organization, WAO. There is also a WhatsApp and also a hotline, which is 24 hours. So you can WhatsApp in your own convenience. Third is the Women's Center for Change, WCC. There is also a WhatsApp and a hotline, Sisters in Islam, All Women's Action Society. This one, there is no WhatsApp, there's an email. You can go and check all this online, but I think I can post a link for those of you who actually need all this information. And Befrienders. Befrienders, in case it doesn't only covers domestic violence, covers depression and any other mental or psychological issues that you're facing. You can also call the Health Ministry social support hotline. This one is only the hotline, there is no WhatsApp whatsoever. And if you're in grave danger, call the police. It's 999. So these are the steps that you can take. So it's all in the news that there have been increasing amount of domestic violence cases in Malaysia and also worldwide in other countries. So in my opinion, I think the government needs to take initiative instead of always depending on the NGOs. So, however, this system in Malaysia is somehow like a referral system, right? So, in France, they actually have budget for domestic violence victims to stay in hotels. However, I don't think we have this privilege. So, and we have limited amount of shelter for domestic violence victims. So these are the steps you can take, but if you're facing grave danger, you by all means do not hesitate to call these hotlines and WhatsApp or text, email all these people with your concerns. So okay, so that's all I have to say. If you have any other questions, I can answer that after this segment. Okay, so we have a couple of questions coming in. The first question is from Natalie Lim, right? So she says, "Hi, I'm helping a friend to ask this question. Since the law firm is not essential services to operate during MCO, what can the employees do if the employer insists to open the law firm and force the employee, in bracket lawyers and staffs, to go to work?" So, Michael, can you please, if you can, answer this
Hi.
question?
Okay. Thanks for the question. Firstly, I think the question. I mean, the first question you need to ask is whether, although it's a non-essential services, you need to ask whether the employer has obtained permission from MITI to operate, and whether that permission has been granted, and whether he has complied with the permission. So that's the first thing you have to ask. If if permission has been granted, everything has been provided. I mean, everything has been complied under the terms of the permission. Then, by all means, the employer can insist that the employees go to work. Okay. The second part to that is if MITI has not given an approval, then the employees have the right to firstly file a police report. For a police report for a breach of the control prevention of infectious disease regulations, and the employer may be liable for that, for an offence under that regulation. Secondly, you can also, if your salary is between up to 5,000, you can also make a complaint to the to JTK, to the Jabatan Tenaga Kerja, saying that this employer is forcing us to attend work despite there being no approval, and in light of the MCO, and JTK will conduct their own investigations, and they will probably visit the premises and reprimand. So there's an investigation process which happens after that. If your salary is above 5,000, then you can also cite constructive dismissal and also file a complaint to the Director General of Industrial Relations under Section 20 of the Industrial Relations Act. So those are your options. I've also been made to understand that MTUC is also making complaints on behalf of employees during this period on an anonymous basis. So that can also be an option that can be considered by employees. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Okay, so we have the next question. Okay, it says I have signed a tenancy agreement with ERA. I'm the landlord and ERA is my tenant. The contract is effective from 1st of January 2020 till the 31st of December. ERA has not paid me and rental till today. So can she terminate the TA immediately, and how to do so? I was wondering if Sinyu, you can take this.
Yeah, thanks, Shara. I think you have to look at what your tenancy agreement says. So the first thing you have to look at your tenancy agreement is whether there's a force majeure clause. If there's a force majeure clause, then and it allows for suspension of rental, then you would have to fall back on that particular clause. But normally tenancy agreements, they don't have that. So ERA, in the usual course of events, they would have to pay your monthly rental regardless of whether or not there's an MCO. In this case, if they haven't paid for a few months, usually it would constitute a breach of contract. But you have to look at what exactly it's stated in your tenancy agreement. If your tenancy agreement says that non-payment for a particular month, for example, 2 or 3 months, does not constitute a breach of contract, then it wouldn't be a breach of contract. But usually in tenancy agreement, it would be. So ERA would still have to pay. So I think, usually ERA, in this particular case, it would have already breached the tenancy agreement, and you can terminate the tenancy agreement as a result. As for the sub-lease of your unit to a third party, again, you have to look at your tenancy agreement, whether that is allowed. If it's not allowed, then it would be a breach of the tenancy agreement, and that would be another ground for you to terminate the tenancy agreement. So as to what you can do to remove this third-party tenant from your unit, well, you won't have to go to court. You have to file a case for it to evict this third party. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you need any clarification, you can post on the Facebook Live link or in the inbox.
Okay, thank you, Sinyu. The next question we have for us is, it says here, how does the firm cope with MCO in this period in terms of work delegation, office meetings on a daily basis? And also, additional question is, in a pupil's perspective, who works in a firm that is rather quiet during MCO. So, Ami, can you take this, please?
Okay, thanks, Shiva, for the question. As far as the firm is concerned, we have always organized meetings via video conferencing, at least once a week. That is how we keep in touch with the lawyers and the partners, and we keep track on the progress of each particular file that we're working on. Apart from video conferencing, we also have our respective chats with the lawyers vis-a-vis the particular file that we work on. That's how we monitor the work online. Even before MCO, the firm has been working through online medium. Therefore, we do not really have to physically monitor our lawyers or the pupil as to how they work. We have a certain level of trust that our lawyers, our pupil are capable, independent, and therefore they are able to work even without physical supervision or constant supervision from the lawyers or the partners. So it is best that if any firm could organize video conferencing among the lawyers or the pupil on a regular basis to keep, to check and see whether or not they are doing well, not only in terms of work, but also in terms of personal matters. It is healthy during this time for us to communicate as regular as possible, keep the communication live, try to make it a new normal for the lawyers and the pupil. That is how we've been coping with our work, our daily life in this trying time. What was the next question, Shira?
Shara, you have to switch on your mic.
Yeah, Shira, I couldn't hear your question.
Sorry. My bad.
The next, the second question.
Yeah, so this is in a pupil's perspective. Like, what if your firm is quiet during the MCO? So, like, how do this firm actually work?
Well, I mean, as you
During
can
the
see, this is how we, as you can see, this is how we communicate. This is how we work. We have to be innovative. We have to move away from the traditional way of doing things. We have to be prepared for things that may happen in the future, and this is the way forward. Whether we like it or not, we have to start communicating through other medium apart from just meeting lawyers, colleagues physically. And this is one of the ways that we have implemented. We communicate constantly. We have so many platforms where we can do the work online without being physically present. Yeah, I think that would answer that question. And try to make the communication more lively when you communicate with your colleagues. It doesn't have to be that formal. Times are bad. I mean, all of us are stressed. So yeah, I mean, at times we need to chill out among the lawyers, the partners, the pupils. Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for the question.
No worries. Yeah, I can agree that we are all stressed during this period. Yep. So there's actually an additional question regarding the tenancy agreement previously I've read. I'll just read it out. ERA has sublet my unit to a third party and signed an agreement with a third party effective 1st March 2020 until the 28th of February. So what can I do to move this third party tenant from my unit? So can you please take this? It's related to the question regarding the tenancy agreement earlier. Sinyu, can't hear you. You need to.
Can you read out the question again? I'm trying to find it on our WhatsApp.
Yeah. Sure. The first question or the second?
Both. I'm trying to find out on the WhatsApp.
Okay. So the first one was related to a person signing a tenancy agreement with the ERA, and she's the landlord and ERA is the tenant. So the contract is effective from 1st January until the 31st of December. ERA has not paid the rental till today, so can she terminate the agreement and how to do so? So you've answered that. The second part of this question is that the ERA has sublet the unit to a third party and signed an agreement with a third party effective 1st March till the 28th of February 2022. So what can she do to move this third party tenant from that unit?
Okay, so like I've mentioned earlier, if there's already a third party in that unit, you have to check your tenancy agreement with ERA, whether or not subleasing of your particular unit is even allowed. If it's allowed, then the third party had rightfully leased your unit from ERA. If there isn't, then the third party's occupation of your unit would be unlawful. And if that is the case, you would have to go to court to seek an eviction order to remove the third party from your unit. So it really boils down to what it's stated there in your tenancy agreement. If you could give us more info on this, of course, you know, we would be able to give you a more precise answer, but otherwise, it really depends on what is stated there in your tenancy agreement. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Sinyu. The next question is regarding the regulations. I'm not sure where it is. Okay. So it says here under the regulations, RM 1000 is the maximum penalty. However, it appears that the recent announcement from the MKN stipulating no nonsense measures and that 1000 will be the immediate fine. Does this not take away discretionary measures in sentencing? Is this something that can be legally challenged? Maybe Joshua, you can take this.
Hi, yes, thank you. So actually under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Disease Act, 1000 is actually the maximum compound. So if the police or the authorities offer you a compound, then the amount must not exceed 1000 ringgit. So the amount can vary from 1 ringgit to 1000 ringgit. And if you pay the compound, the offense is considered compounded and you won't be prosecuted in court. So that's a separate process from a fine. Under Section 24 of the Act, the amount of the fine is not prescribed. So the court retains a discretion on the amount of fine to impose if you are convicted of the offense. So I've looked up the news report, and I would only think that MKN, when they said be prepared for the 1000 fine, was referring to the compound. So it's similar to a police summons where, you know, for speeding they summon you, they issue a summons of 300. So that's similar to a compound. Nevertheless, it does not to answer your question, it does not take away the discretion from the court to impose the amount of compound. To impose the amount of fine, sorry, if you are charged in court. Because once the matter enters the courtroom, then the discretion is with the judge. MKN or the police has no say on the outcome or the sentencing.
Joshua, maybe you can explain a bit about the difference between compound and court proceeding to make it clearer to the question to the person who asked the question.
Okay, so once you have been stopped or arrested by the police for breaching the MCO, what the police has two options. One is to issue a compound, and if you pay that compound, the matter ends there. It won't end up in court. You won't be prosecuted in court. But if there is no compound offered, or if there's a compound offered but you refuse to pay, then the authorities can then prosecute you in court. So that's where the issue of compound is no longer relevant. So now, if you are found guilty, the issue is whether when you are convicted, what is the sentence that will be meted out by the court, whether there will be imprisonment or whether there will be fine. Yes, so the difference between compound and fine is compound is usually a discretion by the authorities. It's an exercise of discretion by the authorities, and for fine, it's a sentencing discretion by the court or sentencing power of the court. Yeah.
Thanks, Joshua.
Okay. Thank you, Joshua. All right, we have another one. So this person has signed up a travel package and has already paid for the travel package. So the agent is refusing to refund and has postponed the tour to later in the year. So this person has checked with the travel insurance, but they say due to the corona, they are unable to receive her claims and to refund the ticket. So she's asking for an opinion. Maybe Sue, you can take this.
Hi. So the thing is, you have to look at the terms and conditions of your contract that you sign up with your travel agent and your travel insurance. So if there is a clause that there, if I'm not mistaken, there should be a list of situation where you can actually ask for refund. So you have to cross-check whether your situation falls under the refund in that terms and condition, and also to double check with your travel insurance whether within the terms and condition is there a chance for refund, because as your questions is a bit too general where there's no more, not much detail that was provided, so I couldn't give any further advice on that. If you have any further questions or any clarification that you need, you can inbox us or you can just leave us a message so that we can clarify further.
Right, thank you, Sue. So I think this person can personally message us because of the big question. We are happy to answer that question for you. So the next question will be, okay, this is in Bahasa ya. So I'll read it in Bahasa. So baru-baru ini terima satu kes dari pekerja pelarian. Dia ditangkap polis kerana langgar MCO berada di luar selepas pukul 8 malam. Dia ada surat majikan kerja dari 10 AM sehingga 9 PM. Tapi masih ditangkap oleh polis di roadblock. Selepas 2 hari dia dibebaskan dengan majikan bayar 1,500 kepada polis. Di sini proses ini betul atau tidak? Dia akan dihukum di bawah MCO atau isu tiada hak kerja pada waktu sekarang. Maybe Amir or Joshua can answer this.
Okay, I'll take this question, Shira. Berhubung dengan soalan ini, sama ada pekerja tersebut mempunyai hak untuk bekerja seperti dalam waktu yang telah dinyatakan oleh surat majikan. Itu pertama kita kena pastikan sama ada kebenaran yang diperolehi daripada majikan tersebut menetapkan bahawa syarikat tersebut boleh bekerja sehingga 9 malam. Itu penting ya. Kalau tempoh waktu bekerja hanya ditetapkan oleh majikan dan bukan daripada pihak kementerian, maka itu adalah satu kesalahan daripada pihak majikan. Dan itu patut diselidiki terlebih dahulu. Kemudian ada isu berhubung dengan pekerja tersebut telah ditahan dan kemudian telah dibebaskan. Agak kurang jelas di sini sama ada penahanan tersebut adalah berkaitan dengan tahanan reman ataupun ianya adalah satu bentuk isu penyiasatan. Ya. Kalau ianya adalah berhubung dengan penyiasatan untuk pihak polis melengkapkan siasatan, peruntukan undang membenarkan proses tahanan reman seperti mana yang telah diperjelaskan oleh Encik Joshua tadi. Ya, jadi kita perlu dapatkan lebih maklumat sebelum boleh memberi penjelasan yang lebih mendalam. Kerana kalau ianya tahanan reman untuk siasatan, maka pihak berkuasa mempunyai hak. Berhubung dengan isu pembayaran 1,500, isu tersebut agak kurang jelas sama ada adakah ianya merupakan compound ataupun adakah ianya merupakan jaminan ya. Jadi kalau ianya compound ada jumlah maksimum yang boleh ditetapkan sebagai compound, dan kalau jaminan ianya terletak pada budi bicara pihak berkuasa untuk menetapkan jumlah jaminan. Tetapi kalau jamin polis kebiasaannya ini adalah satu bond, satu surat dokumen yang menentukan ini jumlah jaminan yang perlu dijamin oleh pihak majikan untuk membenarkan seseorang tersebut keluar sementara menunggu proses siasatan lengkap. Saya harap soalan tersebut penjelasan tersebut menjawab soalan tadi.
Terima kasih Encik Amir. Right, we have the next question. Let's see. Okay. Juga dalam bahasa Melayu, Jika pekerja adalah pekerja upah harian, adakah dia patut diberi gaji pada hari-hari yang tidak hadir kerana kerja kerana MCO pada bulan tersebut? Maybe Sinyu, you can take this.
Hello, can you hear me? Yep. Okay, jika pekerja adalah pekerja upah harian, adakah dia patut diberi gaji pada hari-hari yang tidak hadir kerja kerana MCO pada bulan tersebut? So this depends on, again, it goes back to the contract. If it's a daily wage contract, then the employer would still have to pay, because the MCO doesn't prevent the workers from working per se. What the MCO does is actually it prevents traveling. So even though the worker is not able to travel to his place of work, it doesn't negate the employer's obligation to pay that worker his daily wage. But of course, this is just a very general answer. You need to look at what exactly is stated there in the contract. It's not an employment contract. So cases like this is usually a contract for service. So I'm afraid that's pretty much the extent of what I'm able to answer without looking at that particular contract. But I would take the position that the employer would still have to pay.
Okay. Terima kasih Sinyu. Harap ni menjawab soalan tersebut. Okay, we have a next one. So it says many foreigners and migrants have been hauled up and charged for MCO offences. Many can't afford to pay the fine, but neither do they want to be sentenced to jail. So any words of advice, especially to refugees, such as Banglas, Indonesians and Nepalese? Maybe Amir or Joshua can take this, please.
Okay, I will take this question lah. So basically there's two options. What if the refugees or foreigners could not afford to pay the fine, or if they don't want to be sentenced to imprisonment? Basically what they can do is they can ask for what is called a bond of good behavior under section 173A or section 294 of the CPC. But this discretion must be supported by extenuating circumstances. So for example, if we read the news report lately, there were a group of foreigners who were found partying in Putrajaya, 60 plus of them. I think such a case is quite difficult to plead or to request for a bond of good behavior for such a case. But for example, if you are on the way back from work and you have somehow being charged for breaching the MCO, then you may be able to ask for a bond of good behavior, or even for the magistrate to admonish and discharge. The other option is under the Offenders Compulsory Attendance Act. So it's similar to community service. So if you are liable to an imprisonment sentence, the court can, instead of ordering you to serve time in prison, can order you to perform community service under the Offenders Compulsory Attendance Act 1954. So I think those are the two options. But looking at the trend, the news report lately, the court seems to be taking a strict and deterrent approach in sentencing. I think from the trend, those who have been exceeding the 10 kilometer the 10-kilometer limit, they have been sentenced to imprisonment, but those who are within the 10-kilometer parameter, they have just been issued fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope that answers Raj Suryan's question.
Right. Thank you, Joshua. We have time for one more last question. So we will answer that and then we will wrap up for today. We still have another session next week, same time, 12 on the 5th. So maybe stay tuned and give us more answers. More questions to answer. So the last question will be from this person saying, currently this is an issue faced by Malaysian women married to foreign spouses. Many of them are not on the spouse visa. They are either on student visas or work permits or outside of Malaysia due to difficulties of getting employment in the country. This has resulted in them being unable to return to Malaysia. However, with the prolonged MCO and the fasting month, many Malaysians in transnational marriages are experiencing family separation. So they would like an advice on this. So maybe Sue or Mike can address this issue. Thank you.
Hi, I think I'll just quickly address this. As I've explained in the previous section, what we can do is to file an action against the government, because this is definitely a discriminatory question. I mean, discriminatory is discriminatory from the government. So what we can do is that we can file an urgent case against government so that they can actually look into these issues. Yeah, so that's all.
Thanks, Sue. Do we have time for one more last question? Okay, why don't we answer one more last question? This is a follow-up question regarding refugees, the issue on refugees. So can refugees apply for bond of good behavior considering that under Malaysian law, their entry and presence in Malaysia is illegal? Recognition of UNHCR card is a political decision. So opinion on this? Anybody?
Under 173A and 294, the word used in the CPC is any person, so it does not basically restrict the categories of person to apply such a recourse. And when I said bond of good behavior, I also referred to the other ancillary power under 173A and 294, which is admonish and discharge. So in a case where there's admonish and discharge, where the court admonishes and discharges the offender, basically there is no bond executed by the accused person. So the person is just warned by the magistrate, and then he'll be discharged and released.
Can I add on to Joshua's answer pertaining to the question from Surendra?
Yes.
This is a very important and interesting question at the moment. I remember back then when I used to do some work for UNHCR, there was some sort of understanding. I do not know whether the same understanding still applies, that any refugees or asylum seekers who have obtained the card from UNHCR would be permitted to work or to be in Malaysia, and therefore they should not be subject to any prosecution under the Immigration Act. That was the understanding that I was made to understand way back then when I used to do some work for UNHCR. So assuming that the same political decision applies, that the government of the day recognizes the card that's been issued by UNHCR, therefore there should be some attempt or approach to be made with the Aegis chambers to ensure that asylum seekers or refugees who have been recognized by UNHCR will not be prosecuted in court under the immigration law. Now, that is my personal view on this legal issue.
All right. Thank you, Amir and Joshua. So we are going to wrap up today's session. So we will have another session next week on the 5th, same time. Maybe Amir, do you have any last advice or opinion to wrap this up?
Well, thanks to the team for organizing this session. I think it's good so that we can help those who are unable to get proper legal advice. But please bear in mind that we need to stay safe. So do not simply go out and flout the laws. Try your best to obey the MCO. And if there's any issue, by all means, do drop a message to the firm on our Facebook so that we can look into these issues and do our level best to answer the questions in the next session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remind to join us next week at 12 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.